What's up guys, this is Massey. Welcome to another video. In this video I want to show you how to evaluate limits of trigonometric function. First example I have is limit of tan x when x approaches 0. So that's going to be tan 0, which is going to be 0. Next one is limit of tan x when x approaches pi over 4. That's going to be tan pi over 4, and we know tan pi over 4 is 1. Next one is limit of x times sine x over 2 when x approaches pi. So it's going to be pi times sine pi over 2. Sine pi over 2 is 1. So it's going to be pi times 1. And the answer is going to be pi. Next one is x cosine x when x approaches pi is going to be pi times cosine pi, which is going to be pi times negative pi. So pi times negative 1 is going to be negative pi. Next one is sine squared x when x approaches pi. So it's going to be sine squared pi, or sine pi to the power of 2. Sine pi is 0. 0 to the power of 2 is going to be 0. Next one is limits of tan 2x when x approaches pi over 2 is going to be tan of 2 times pi over 2 is going to be pi. So tan of pi is going to be, basically that's sine pi over cosine pi. Sine pi is 0, cosine pi is negative 1. So the answer is going to be 0. Next one is limit of sine pi x over 6 when x approaches 1. So that's going to be sine pi times 1 divided by 6. Pi over 6 is going to be 1 over 2. Next one is limit of cosine pi times x over 3 when x approaches negative 1. That's going to be cosine of negative pi over 3. Cosine of negative pi over 3 is the same as cosine pi over 3, and that's going to be equal to 1 over 2, positive 1 over 2. Limit of 2 times cosine x when x approaches 0. Secant x is 1 over cosine, so it's going to be 2 over cosine x, or in this case cosine 0, so it's going to be 2 over 1, and the answer is going to be 2. Next one is limit of tan pi x over 4 when x approaches 3 is going to be tan 3 pi over 4, which is going to be equal to positive 1 because it's on the second quadrant. It has to be negative, so it's going to be negative 1. Based on the cast rule, tan is positive in quadrants 1 and quadrant 3, and it is negative in quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. Since 3 pi over 4 belongs to quadrant 2, tan is negative 1. Limit of cosine x when x approaches 3 pi over 4. So 3 pi over 4, that belongs to quadrant 2, and in quadrant 2 cosine is negative, so cosine pi over 4 is root 2 over 2, so that's negative root 2 over 2. Next one is limit of secant x over 3 when x approaches pi. Secant is 1 over cosine pi over 3. Cosine pi over 3 is 1 over 2, so it's going to be 1 divided by 1 over 2, which is going to be positive 2. So that's basically is going to be the final answer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave me a comment if you have any question, and please don't forget to subscribe this channel. You can have access to many other videos regarding limits, differentiation, and other topics in calculus, math, physics, and chemistry. Thank you for watching and have a great day.